So now we're going to go to the next chapter in the book. In the next chapter, this is a good one. This is a good one. Fear of being alone. Let's talk about that.
Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me?
I don't want to give away too much in the book, but what I want to do is, for us to just have like basic conversation about it, because fear of being alone, I think what comes to my mind first is how people will choose anybody to be with just so they don't have to be alone. So they're with somebody that's not even a match for them. Somebody that is, that's not their person, right? So now they're really unhappy. They're, how can I say it? They're unhappy. They're miserable. They're not connecting. They have nothing in common. They don't know how to do things together where they're having fun. They probably, if you're somebody that always needs somebody else around in order for you and your partner or your spouse to have a good time, then that means that you don't enjoy that person's time and you guys are not connecting on a certain level. So people that stick with people like that, when they have nothing in common and there's no love, there's no nothing there, most of them people, I'm not saying all, are there because of fear of being alone. What's your take on it?
I would say that with that, my thing about connection is we all can connect.
Mm-hmm.
We all connect in some form or fashion. It's also about taking your time to find out how to connect.
Right.
Some people, unfortunately, and I agree with you, some aspects of it is people get together, they get into a relationship, they rush into it,
mm-hmm.
right, without taking the time. Because sometimes we all come in a relationship with our representative. And
right.
our representative is always doing the right thing.
Okay. They repping. That's what they supposed to do.
They come in ready. They opening up the door for you, and you find out who you with after the first disagreement.
True, the big one, not the fake one. Like, let me play it safe. The real big disagreement.
You find out, like, oh shit.
I done got me a crazy one. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. Fear of being alone. It's not just on what I just explained. It's on so many different levels. First of all, it can also come from like childhood trauma, right? When you talk about somebody being alone, like what was their childhood like? Did their parents were their parents not really in their life as much, where they felt like they were lacking something? So then that person, they start to seek something in the person that they're trying to be with, or a person that they're with. They start seeking these things in them because they didn't get counseling when they were younger, or they didn't get the help that they needed. So they start to take now their past of their family dynamics into their relationship. So that can trickle down too into people's relationship, because now it's like, okay, you know what? I'm looking for you to be here all the time, to do this, to sit by me. I'm looking for you to fulfill that emptiness, that loneliness, because I'm afraid to be by myself. And that goes back to knowing yourself. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, that's in a lot of relationships, because a lot of people are in relationships with the idea that somebody to fill in an empty space.
Right.
When unfortunately, it's nobody's job to fill in an empty space. They supposed to come in and just take up space.
Right.
They're supposed to make
in a sense.
In a sense, yeah. Because if you're filling up an empty space, sometimes the space might be too big for you to fill.
Well, see, let me tell you something about empty space. Empty space, there shouldn't be any. That means that there's a void within you, because I can't look for somebody to come in and fulfill me. I should already be fulfilled. See, I think back then, there was always these sayings, you got to be 50-50. You got to, no, you don't. You need to come 100%, and I need to come 100%. Because if I'm giving you 50, there's another 50 that I'm not giving you. Okay, so if somebody is coming in with that with a void and they're looking for someone to fill it, now they're putting an expectation on that individual of shoes that they need to fill for themselves. Yep. This is why I said previously, get to know yourself and take time to heal. Because if you do not do that, that person that you with is going to pay for every single void, issue, and scars that haven't healed yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you got somebody trying to fulfill the spot, they're never going to fulfill it. No matter how hard they work, you're never going to be able to fulfill somebody's void.
My point is, there should be no void because you should really take the time to get to know yourself. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I mean? Basically. And at the end of the day, listen, there's nothing wrong with therapy. A lot of people run away from that. Therapy for yourself, therapy if you need marriage counseling, if you need family counseling. A lot of times, you know what I find is that people are so afraid to go to therapy. One, it's either because they think that it's something wrong with it and it has a bad stigma to it, and two is because they probably don't want the help anyway. So for me, I know I've tried it. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna go do it, but hey, listen, I'm about to tell y'all something right now. Chat GPT, love it. If you need therapy, look, I use chat. Let me tell you something. It was the best advice that I've gotten, and I've been to therapy. It put everything so in place. Let me tell y'all why I like ChatGPT for therapy. And I'm gonna tell anybody out there, if you can't afford a counselor, if you can't make it to a counselor, if you don't feel comfortable talking to a counselor, what I like so much about ChatGPT is that you can actually say how you feel without looking across. Or, looking across, if you're my therapist, yeah, I might want to let it all out. But it might take me time. I'm trying to figure you out. Are you really listening to me? Do you really care? Is this a safe place? So I might be holding back. And there's times that I'm holding back. I might actually in that moment need some type of advice that I actually can't get because I did not let loose because I'm trying to figure you out. But see, when you're talking to ChatGPT, there's no judgment there. Sometimes people talk and they're looking at their therapist or counselor or psychiatrist like, how is this person looking at me? Are they judging me? So they might not go in there saying everything that they need to say. But when you are comfortable in your own space, in your own time, privately, you can say everything and let it out. And you don't have to worry about ChatGPT. You can't, look, they don't see.
I'm going to say this about ChatGPT, okay?
It worked for me. It gave me the best advice. It made lit.
I'm going to tell you the difference between my opinion, right? Because I don't give a fuck. I go into the therapist. I'm going to say whatever I can. I don't care how you think of me. When in the beginning when I used to go to the therapist, you get that idea that they sitting there and the whole time you talking, they writing.
Right.
So
looking at the clock.
There was times I went in there and sat there the whole time and didn't say nothing. We just looking at each other, I'm looking at them, they looking at me, we looking at each other. But
that's crazy. See what I'm saying?
Hour.
Wasted time.
Yep. But what happens is, I'm gonna tell you what makes the difference between ChatGPT is because the therapist also got to be careful about what they say.
Right.
Because if they say something that you kind of like don't agree with it, especially if the person is a little angry, they might have to get. They got to think about the hands being put on them for saying the wrong advice, right?
Yes.
With the ChatGPT, if it gives you advice, you can't get mad with nothing. It's a computer. You
know what's so funny, though? The advice that it gives, you can't get mad. See, one thing about this AI program, it is very intelligent. It knows how to word things so well that you have no choice but to look within yourself and say, wow, you can receive the message because it's coming from a place of, it's not a judgmental place, right? Like how most of us talk sometimes to each other. I talk like that. So sometimes it's like when you're what you laughing at?
Okay. Oh, well, I'm gonna let you finish first, man.
I don't want you to forget though.
I'm not gonna forget.
So it's not coming from a judgmental place. I just Oh my God.
So why you figuring it out?
Yeah, just go ahead, because I didn't forgot what I was going to say.
I'm only laughing because you know what, when the way you saying it to me, and you know my mind starts to go crazy and start wandering. I'm like, if people had arguments through Chat GPT, we would have nobody fighting.
If what?
We had an argument, like somebody argument, and just started going to Chat GPT. And just said, let the computer do the talking for you. Nobody would be fighting if the way you describe it.
Oh, no. Okay, you're absolutely right. So, and I'm glad you brought that up, because see, I use ChatGPT for a lot of stuff. Even when I'm angry, if I need to send an email where I feel like disrespected by somebody, and I will go in, and I'm talking about go in, hard body going in, straight off the block going in, right? But then when I put it all into the system and I say, reword this for me, and it sends it back to me, it gets the same message across, but in a better, more respectful way, where it actually calms me down. When I read it back, I'll be like, damn, I wish I could have said it like this. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could have said it like this. But at the end of the day, look, I didn't. But now I can say, you know what? This is better for me to send this rather than what I said before. But you know what? I got to get it out somehow. So ChatGPT allows me to get it all out through it. And then it rephrase it back, and then I can send it to the person, and then it don't have to look so bad. So definitely, ChatGPT is the way to go, y'all. So use it for if you need therapy and you can't afford therapy. I'm telling you right now, go get it, go use it.
I think I'm crazy then, because I would probably put it in ChatGPT, have it put out the nice way of saying it, and still send it the old way.
That's crazy. Okay.
This is not how I feel.
I can't. He said, no, redo. Nah, that's fighting words. He said, I like it better this way. So, all right. So back to the fear of being alone. Could you remember any times or any experience where you had situations like that?
I don't care about being alone. I really don't. I grew up with my sisters and brothers, right? Fortunately, everybody was always around.
Okay.
So sometimes, like I shared a room with my brother, I needed space. So now being alone is how I'm good with it.
So you're telling me there's never been a time in any relationships that you had with me or previously before me, all the relationships you had before me, that you never cared about being alone and didn't hop into a new relationship quickly?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say most times before the relationship was over, I was already dating something else. I was cheating. So
now the truth is coming out.
Well, except for my last one, I did take my time with that, and then even in that, that's when it came. That's when I realized, when people started saying to me, I had people tell me, "Yo, something wrong with you, because you don't have a hard time. If the world blew up around you and you was the only one on it, you would be all right."
So I don't get that last part. Because we don't know what happened or what they're talking about. You got to let us know.
The way I felt about it is I didn't care about being alone.
Okay.
A lot of times I'd be in my house chilling by myself. Shit, nowadays with video games and all this other shit, movies, I sit in a movie, throw some popcorn back and be by myself. I was good.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, I would say for me, I can't say the same thing. I did have an issue with being alone. And I would say that I did have an issue with jumping into relationships really quickly. I tried not to do that with you. I don't know if you remember, but I did, look, we talking. Take our time. We both had situations, and I was like, I think that we should kind of see where we're going to go first before, we really get into something serious. But we talked and things like that. But before we made it official between us, I think we did take our time. I tried to do it differently than how I did it before, because I did realize how I did it before was not a good way. And not to say that, and this is not me putting the blame on anybody that I was with previously, but it's just that, again, you do need time to heal, and you can't jump into a relationship just because you're afraid to be by yourself, because that's not good. Even though, before, earlier, I stated that, listen, I know how to keep myself busy, which I do, but when I'm not doing nothing, let's say I take a break and now I'm like, okay, now I'm sitting there. Okay, now who am I talking to? What am I doing? You know what I mean? So it was like, oh God. And then it was like, oh, if I'm not in a relationship, then what am I doing? So it was jump into another relationship, which is why I also had issues in my previous relationships, because if one didn't work out, I was in another. If that one didn't work out, I was in another. So I wasn't taking time to get to know me better, all right? And that took a long time for me to be able to do that. It took a very long time for me to get to know me, even with us. You know, it took a long time to grow, to understand, like, okay, you know what? When I'm not doing the things that I love to do and keeping busy, and I'm just sitting here in my thoughts, I have to be okay with that. I have to be not want to be so quick to pick up the phone or go chill or do this and that with somebody, just to have somebody there. Because why? I know why I did it. You know, and listen, the imperfect marriage for me, it's about really being transparent. Because, and I'm not saying that you're not. I just want to make that clear, because I know people. Everybody be taking stuff, and you too. Like, what you mean by that? What I'm saying is, if I can't come on here and tell the truth and be authentic and real, then I shouldn't be doing it, right? Because that's why it's called imperfect marriage, because nothing is perfect. A lot of times we go seeking perfection in people, and we are not perfect. A lot of relationships do not last because they're looking for someone to be perfect when they are not perfect themselves. So at the end of the day, I have to be able to talk about my imperfections because I have them. You know what I mean? And I don't have to come across to anybody and say, well, I'm not worried about this and I'm okay and I'm this. No, sometimes I'm not okay. Sometimes I did mess up. Sometimes I was in relationships where it was about, hey, I don't want to be alone. You know, I've done things that, you know, when I look back, I'm like, damn, you know, okay, I could have did that better. That wasn't kind of smart the way I did that. So you learn from it. So these things you talk about, because I'm sure there's somebody out there right now that's probably going through it, or they've been through it. And they gotta, if we're gonna talk about this, it has to also make sense and be beneficial to be able to give some insight to those who might be able to take the information and utilize it to make themselves better. The light bulb go off in your head. Aha, okay, so I'm not the only one. Oh, other people do go through this. You don't have to feel embarrassed or ashamed, because everybody got secrets and skeletons in their closet, baby. Okay?
Well, I'm gonna say this: when it comes to fear of being alone, for men, it's different in the sense, right? Because we don't always, to fulfill our needs, that physical need, we don't have to be in a relationship for it.
Okay.
You know,
right?
Most times with women, before you, I'm not gonna say it, because nowadays the way the social media is making it, women are worse than men now.
Oh damn, we on there?
I'm not saying
we really going there?
I'm not saying y'all. I'm just saying social media portrays that image that women are now sexually worse than men.
Well, you know what? It is like that. And I mean, I guess that would be another topic, but I don't understand. Or we could talk about it now, you know, so we're there. Times have changed.
I don't think so.
I believe so. I believe time. Listen, there was always sexual people. There was always sex. There was always whores. There was always pimps. It could have been a different name. But I'm talking about with women. Times have changed when it comes to, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm just going to go with respect. Okay? When it comes to respecting yourself, holding yourself to a certain standard in class. Now, don't get me wrong. See, what has happened over time is that men have always gotten away with being the dog, the cheater, and praised for it. Women...
They didn't get away with it. We didn't get away with it.
Women always was left behind, hurt, feeling cheated on and played. And then if they talked to somebody or did what the man did, they are shamed for it, right? Because at the end of the day, there are different, what's the word I'm looking for? If I do it, I'm criticized for it. If you standards, different, I guess double standards, right? Yeah. So, you know, there's double standards when it comes to women and it comes to men. So you're shaking your head, but let me just finish. So, if I cheat, if I go out, if I sleep around, right? What would I be called? I will be called a bitch or a whore or this or that, right? So, and then putting me to shame for that. Men would do it, and what a men call, yo, you the effing man, yo, so, oh, you tap that, you hit that, you smash that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, yeah, you with this one, you with that one. It's like, how many chicks can you get up underneath your belt to feel like you the man, like you conquered the women, right? Women have to be the one women man. Now, I'm not saying that I'm promoting wholeness, because I'm not, right? But what I will say is that women got tired of that. They got tired of, yo, you're cheating. Oh, I'm gonna do what you gonna do. Now let's see if you like it. See, it's a double standard. If I do it to you, you understand? You're gonna feel some kind of way, but you want me to feel sorry about what I did, but you could do me dirty all day. Nah, this is why, like, when you look at, I'm gonna use Cardi B for an example. I'm not saying that I approve of everything that Cardi B do, because I do not. But what I will say is, as a woman, sometimes she be saying stuff, and I be like, I get exactly where she's coming from. See, you can't dog a woman out, play her, right? And then turn around and expect her to play by the rules. It's like when you beefing with somebody, and then now they say something and you like, whoa, you went too far. Nah, it's beef. We already crossed that line. There's no boundaries when you got beef with somebody. There's no play nice when there's a problem. When it's game time, it's game time. We going in.
I don't know. I have to disagree with that, because I'm gonna say it's not a double standard. It's an actual standard. And I'm going to say to you why.
Okay, let's hear this. I got to hear this one, y'all.
Believe it or not, women always think it's the man who's bragging about what's under his belt, right? Mm-hmm. But not a lot of times, women want a man who's more experienced. Women want somebody who knows who's been with enough women to know how to be with them, right?
Who told you that?
Come on, y'all don't want no. Do you want a virgin? A guy who's a nerd?
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
We know that's not true.
That's not. See, that's where you wrong. That's where you wrong.
Women.
That's where you wrong. You telling me that there's no women out here that would say, "Oh, this man haven't been with nobody," or "I want a dude that been ran through. I want community dick." Yep. Excuse my language. No.
Yes, I'm gonna explain to you. Let me. I'm gonna tell you why it's not a double standard, right?
Okay.
The first thing first. When it comes to a woman, I'm gonna say this, right? Before you get married, you got to ask yourself, what can you bring to the marriage that you ain't done for another man?
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. With men, our job, when we first meet a woman, our representative has to make sure we show everything. We got to make sure that we're willing to pay. We got to make sure we show everything up front before a woman goes, you know what? Oh, he's the one. Or I'm gonna take that second step. If you ain't got the money, or and don't get me wrong, you ain't got the. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of swagger. But if you ain't got none of that, women ain't looking at you. You got to be able to have something that you could put up front before women. When we dating y'all, you ain't got to be nothing but yourself. You just got to come as you are. You don't have to bring nothing to me.
Y'all want them to come, I would say, cute and sexy, right? You need something like, that dime piece up under your arm. It doesn't. But you're saying that women, so I guess I'm trying to understand your point to saying that what I said is not true. It's a double standard. I don't get it.
A man does not want a woman who's been with a lot of men.
And neither does a woman.
That's not true.
See, that's where you wrong at.
That's what a woman does not want.
Nobody wants community dick. Nobody wants community dick. They just
I'm about
don't.
to explain to you. A woman does not want a man who's doing it with her and more than one person at the same time. But when a man's belt, most women ain't looking at a man going, "Oh, how many girls did you have sex with?" Men look at that.
See, maybe, but maybe not. Let me explain something to you. The thing is, this is why I say one size do not fit all, because all women are not like that. They're not. They're like. So with this, all women are not like that. Okay, I would not want. I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, right, growing up, looking at guys, there was times, especially in my teenage years, we didn't care. Oh, whatever. Oh, I like this guy. I'm gonna talk to him anyway. I don't care if he have no girl. Like, you do all of that. But as you get older, as you get mature, You do that. You're not looking for that in a man. So I'm just saying, for me, I did not want a guy that was looking at everybody else. One thing about me is I never liked that. I never liked a man who showed interest in everybody. If it wasn't just about me, if you could look at somebody and you could forget about me, I don't need no man like that.
You just proved my point, though.
What's my point? What point did I
prove? What I'm
prove?
trying to say to you is, as you get older, right? When in the beginning, we all young. When a man is not coming into a relationship with empty, especially as you get older, right? So a man, by the time he gets a certain age, he's probably been through enough women, right? With women on the same aspect, men are looking at y'all different. We're looking at you of how many men have you been with before you got with me? Because what are you gonna bring to me that you haven't given anybody else?
Right. Okay, Kevin Samuels. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying that.
Yes.
No,
Look, I rock with Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I honestly believed probably 80% of the stuff that he said. I was like, yo, he's right. He actually had me checking myself. But what you're saying is, I agree with it to a certain extent, but what I'm trying to tell you is there is women out there who do not like and are into men that had all these different girls and all this stuff. We don't like it.
No, and I'm not saying that.
And I think
no woman wants a man who's with her and somebody else at the same time. Nobody
right,
wants
I
that.
got that part, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, there are women too who do not want a man that all women been with. It's disgusting. No, we not.
You didn't grow up in the hood then.
Not well. I did, and listen. That's why, I wasn't rocking with everybody like that. See, everybody's morals is different. You know what I'm saying? There are women, who, they into the guy. They just into the guy because the guy got a girl. They don't even care. They wasn't checking for him before, but because they got some type of jealousy or competition with this chick, they want to see if they could pull that chick's man. You know what I'm saying? The process of how people think, So at the end of the day, when we talking about relationships, you gotta know the person that you with. You gotta know, okay, is this the type of dude or woman that mad people ran through? Can I deal with that? Can I not deal with that? Are they a flirty type of person now? And if let's say they're not checking those boxes, but you with them anyway, why? And I'm gonna bring it back to the topic that we supposed to be on. Why? Because maybe you got some type of fear of being alone, or you can't find somebody else. So you just settling. You know what I mean? That's not going to be healthy moving forward in your marriage or relationship. I was looking at this podcast, and it was like they were talking, I can't remember the name of it, but they were like, they asked people, when did you know that marriage wasn't for you? And they were like, the day of my marriage when I said I do. What? But you still went through with it? You still continue? You understand what I'm saying? So people continue to put themselves deeper and deeper into situations that they never wanted to be in, and then they wonder why they are unhappy. So the key is, back to what I was saying, and I guess we could close it out on this unless you have something else to say and move on to the next. But the key is, love yourself, learn yourself, and do not bring any type of toxic, unhealed wounds into your next relationship and marriage. Because if you come in your marriage unhealed, you will bleed all over your new partner. And nobody want to be bled on. That's my thing.
I ain't saying nothing. You can end it just like that. I'm going to fuck it up if I do.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? We're going to end this episode here, The Imperfect Marriage with Ladi Miz and Ray. We hope y'all enjoyed. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that y'all can stay on point and know, when we got our episodes coming up. We have several different shows under From the Ground Up. So stay in tune and listen. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace, because he ain't going to mess this up.
Girl, it's easy to love me now.
hope you enjoyed your time with From the Ground Up Productions. We'll see you next time. Be sure to add our channel to your Roku list and listen to us on all streaming platforms.
From the ground up. From the ground up. There's only one way to go from here.